Hey everybody, this is Fax of the Curtain Jerks, co-host of the podcast, The Best There Ever Was, where Chris and I talk about wrestling's greatest matches with a new guest every week on the Atlantic Transmission Network. Today, I am here to talk about the G1 Climax Tournament and some of our thoughts on it. Now, the G1 Climax Tournament has been hosted by New Japan Pro Wrestling since 1991, but really the focus is on the tournament since 2012, where a stipulation was added that the winner of the tournament gets a contract to challenge for the IWGP World title at the following Wrestle Kingdom. If they are able to successfully defend it, typically the winner of the tournament has to defend it 3 or 4 times between the end of the tournament in August and the following Wrestle Kingdom, which takes place every year on January the 4th. Now, there are 3 outcomes that have never transpired following a G1 Climax tournament. Number 1, the current IWGP champion has never won the tournament. Now, that could happen this year. Kenny Omega, who won in 2016, is at the top of his game. He is in this tournament, and he's coming off beating Kaz Okada, who is arguably the greatest world champion ever, with the longest reign in New Japan history, the most title defenses in New Japan history. How can you make Omega seem at all worthy to the title that Okada's really elevated? Well, maybe you have him do one thing that Okada never did. Now, the second thing that's never happened is that the contract that is given to the winner has never been lost. So the winner of the tournament has always been able to successfully defend the contract and actually challenge for the world title at the following Wrestle Kingdom. Now, this opens up all kinds of story possibilities, because that doesn't mean that you need to decide who's going to be in the biggest show of the year, which isn't until January, now in August. So there's all different kinds of ways that could happen and take the story in all kinds of different really fun directions. That's another thing I really wouldn't be surprised if they did this year. Now, the third thing that's never happened is, believe it or not, the winner of the G1 Climax has never successfully won the world title at Wrestle Kingdom. I know, crazy. The Money in the Bank winner almost always wins the world title fairly quickly. Here it's the exact opposite. New Japan, the challenger, has never won it. Now, that's something you could also clearly see them do. Just statistically, if somebody's a big enough star to win the tournament, at some point they've got to actually win the big one at the biggest show of the year. Now, let me throw out another possibility. What if 2 of those 3 things happen for the first time this year? What if Kenny Omega successfully wins the contract on his own world title, then loses the title and uses that contract to main event and win his title back at Wrestle Kingdom? It would be unprecedented. It's a wild dart throw, but hey, it could happen. For this and other reasons, I think Kenny Omega is my top pick to win the tournament. I think he's the odds-on favorite, but you can disagree with me if you want. One thing we can't disagree on, we have about 3 weeks of great wrestling to watch on New Japan World. I'll be previewing in the next 2 installments both A Block and B Block competitors, so you should come back here, check that out, and don't forget to subscribe to The Best There Ever Was, the podcast I co-host covering wrestling's greatest matches. Has never successfully won the title. Yeah, I'm like, because I forgot, me and Chris were talking about that yesterday, where he's like, there's no way that can be right. And I'm like, no, it's definitely right. And he's like, yeah,